Okay, so we're going to begin. I didn't state enough. The Gemara we're learning is famous. Shalom Rav Nachi. This is the Makar for Mitzvah Baba Avera. Mitzvah Avera that we speak about all day and night, all over Shas, right? Oh, Mitzvah Avera. This Gemara is the Makar. It's very interesting because it's almost like seeming like from the background in our Gemara, but this is the Makar. So whenever you hear Mitzvah Bavera, you know the first blood in Lulav Gazel. With that, let's begin. We're going to start again for the Gemara, and then we will get up to a Rav to and we'll move weiter. Kapasik Vitani says the Gemara. We paskin and we learn Kapasik Vitani Loi Shina that it comes out of the Mishnah. There is no difference. B'Yamtav Risha in the first day of Yamtav V'Yamtav Loi Shina, and there's no difference V'Yamtav Sheni. All days, of Sukkot are the same. That what? There is. Haley good Joe. Haley good Joe. Guys, don't give too big of a welcome, because then he's going to feel like, he doesn't want to come because he needs a welcome. But I didn't end up bringing the Gemaras of Yehuda. I was supposed to, but Senator Bill kept me. Okay, yeah, they're here. No, but new Gemara, so the Naya Chaver. Okay, Chavtasim Ebeis, we just began the Gemara. Shalom Rabbi Yaakov. You know what? For the new Chaver's sake, and because we're focusing on Chazara, we're going to take an extra 90 seconds to read the Mishnah. Okay? Everyone who's here who knows the Balpeh, you could just follow along in the air. For the new Chavra, we could look it together, and for all of us who don't know Balpeh, we could just read it together. Lulav ha'gazel va'yavish is possible. Lulav that is stolen and dried out is possible. Shalashira from an Achira tree, which is a tree that was worshipped, Avodah Zarah. Shalir Nidachas, which is a city that was condemned to destroy because they worshipped Avodah Zarah. Possible. Niktam Roisha, if its top was cut off, Nifritzu Olav. If its leaves, Olav are the leaves, Nifritzu were torn off. Possible. Nifridu Olav, but if the leaves are just separated, it's kosher. Rav Yehuda Aimer, no, it's not stam kosher if the leaves are separated. Rather, yagedenu malamali, if to bind it from the top. Tzine harabarzel ksherois. From the harabarzel trees, these are short trees, which we're going to see is kosher. Lulav sheish gimel tvachim k'dilan aneya by kosher. Now, the truth is, let's just add on one detail, which we didn't speak out for the Mishnah, so it's not just a chazara. It's not just a chazara, which really that is enough. What's kedel and aneba? I think someone even mentioned that when we read the Mishnah. It's clearly adding on something. It's clearly adding on to something which we'll get to. Okay, says the Gemara, Kapasik Vitani, from the Mishnah, Paskins that it learns that what? Loishina. There's no difference. Meaning, from the words of the Mishnah, it's clear. There's no difference b'yamtiv Risha, the first day of Yamtiv. V'leishna b'yamtiv Sheni. Meaning, that which in the Mishnah is kosher, apostle, it's apostle. Are there any differentiations in the Mishnah between day 1 and day 6? No. Same did. Says the Gemara, let's understand this. Bishlama Yavesh, I understand a lulav that is dried out. Why is it apostle? Hadar be'inan. It needs to be beautiful. Beauty is a psul for the entirety of Sukkot. So I understand that it's possible. V'lekan, it's not. But Ella asked the Gemara, Gazel, lulav that is stolen bishlam, Yantav Arish. The first day of Yantav, I understand that a stolen lulav is possible. Why? Tersevet says in the Torah, Lachem, Yishalachem, it has to be yours. Ella. However, rather ask the Gemara, Yantav Sheni, the second day of Sukkot, Amai, Loi, why is a stolen lulav a problem? The whole din of lachem is what? Lakachtem lachem, when? B'yoyim harishon, on the first day. So says the Gemara, why is a stolen lulav a problem? On day 2, etc. So Amar Rav Yochanan, Baruch atah Adonai, Yelina Malach Elam, She'akol Niyavdrei. Amar Rav Yochanan, Mishum Rashbi. And last night we pointed out, no, we didn't. Just tonight we pointed out, it was a few moments ago, that this line is a very famous line. We know the concept mitzvah b'avir, it's in our blood. And it's so much so that when we read the Mishnah, the Eilim was saying, what do you mean Hadar? What do you mean this? Mitzvah b'avera. This is the Makar. You want to know what's the Makar from Mitzvah b'avera? Sukkah daf lamed amud aleph, the Heilige Rashbi. Why? Misham dahavale mitzvah haba b'avera. Stolen lulav is no good. Why? Because it's an avera. Don't serve God through an avera. Shenemar. Now we bring the makar. So that's the manifestation of mitzvah baba avera is lulav hagazel. What's the mikar shenamar? It says in the Torah. Now, this is a very interesting mikar. We don't have time to deal with this on an Ian level, but we point out it's a pasuk in Malachi, which is funny. We usually know mikayos have to come from Torah. Malachi is Torah, but it's nach. It's not actual Torah. It's interesting for mikayos to come from there. Whether that teaches us something, it certainly does, but let's not get involved in that right now. I'll just point out another interesting detail before we go on. What day are we talking about? Talk about a stolen lulav on what day? Any day beyond the first. Good. The chiyuv to take a lulav on day 2 is deraisa derabanan? Derabanan. So what's going on over here? Deraisa only in the Beis Hamikdash, we take a lulav for 7 days. This is something that's going to come clear in the Gemara later on. Something that Taisus over here gets very involved in. Just something intriguing. I'm not going to really develop this fully. Just something intriguing to keep in our mind. They were really discussing a psul derabanan, and we're bringing a pasuk. So a lot of interesting things over here. But let's just get the Gemara straight. It says the Gemara Shenamar, Ve'avisem Gazel. Says the pasuk. Talking about bringing a carbon, and it says, when you bring gazel, something that is stolen, vesa biseach, or a lame animal, an animal with a mum, vesa chayla, or a sick animal. The pasuk is talking about bringing carbonis that are not valid carbonis, and it lists 3 examples: gazel, stolen; piseach, lame; chayla, sick. So the Gemara learns out gazel, a stolen animal, has to be dumya, similar dipiseach, to a lame animal. Ma piseach, just like a lame animal, less leita kanta. There's no way to fix it. It's lame. It has a mum. You can do whatever you want. The bottom line is this animal will never be allowed to bring a carbon. Why? Because it has a mum. Af gazel, says the Gemara, less leita kanta. There's no way to fix a stolen lula, a stolen animal as a carbon, which teaches us what? It doesn't make a difference before Yush. We'll explain in a moment. Both before and after Yush, are you allowed to bring an animal as a carbon? The answer is no. Question is why? So says the Gemara, Bishlama, I understand lifnei Yush. Yush means that the owner despairs of getting it back. If the owner is not miyayish, it's still his. The example we said yesterday, if you're on your way to your car, I punch you out, I take your keys, I drive away in your car. Whose car is it? It's still your car. Why? Because you're going to call the cops to get your car back. So it's your car. When you are miyayish, when you give up hope of getting it back, at that moment, the ownership is transferred. The moment you despair of getting it back, it becomes my car. Yet, says the Gemara, Bishlam lifnei yush. It makes sense that you can't bring an animal as a carbon before the owner was miyayish. Why? Says in the Torah, Adam ki yakriv mikem. If someone brings a carbon, an Adam ki yakriv, that brings a sacrifice, mikem, from yourself, Amar Rachmana, says the Torah. And if it's a stolen animal, and there's no yiyush, lavdi deyu, it's not yours. Again, let's use a real life example. You have a cow. You're walking down the street with a cow. Very normal thing. Joe, no? You could have a cow walking down the street. Very regular. So what happens? I see you with your cow. I say, Betsy, she looks nice. I go, punch you out, take Betsy. Next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it to God. I'll bring you a shikol Robin Hood matzav. I'm bringing it as a carbon. You're not miyayish. You're hoping you're getting back your cow. So am I allowed to bring that carbon? No. Why not? Label. The reason you can't bring this as a carbon is why? It's not yours. Whose is it? The owner's. Oh, very cute, very cute. It's not yours. But now let's say a week later, you're miyayish. You give up hope. A week later, you're like, you know what? I'm not getting back my cow. Let the rabbi just have the cow. Says the Gemara. But what about la'achar yosh? Hakan yibiyosh. When you despair of getting back your cow, whose cow is it? It's my cow. So much so, I want to have a romantic wedding. So I had to make the front page of the news. I'm going to get married. I'm not going to say Ariyah Mekudash, give my wife a ring. I'm going to take Betsy the cow, give it to my wife. It's Ariyah Mekudash. You know what the halacha is? Mekudashas. Why? It's my cow. It's really your cow that I stole. Once you are miyayish, it's my animal. I have a full-fledged Kinyan. But yet, Can you bring it out as a carbon? No. Says the Gemara, la'achar yosh, hakanye b'yosh, you have a kinyan. So why are you not allowed to bring it as a carbon? Why does the pasuk compare a gazel to a piseach? Seemingly a piseach, a mum can never get better. But a stolen animal, could it get better? Yes! How could it get better? With Yosh. But says Gemara, no. Elala misham da mitzvah haba ba'avera. This is the makar in Kol Torah Kula. That mitzvah haba ba'avera is a problem. It's from this pasuk in Sukkah Daf Lamed Amud Aleph. It's from the milsig of Lulav HaGazel, is where we learn out from that a mitzvah ba'avera is no good. What is the makar? Let's label it properly. A pasuk that says what? That a stolen item is the same as a lame item, as a balmum. Just like an animal with a mum can never be brought as a carbon, so to a stolen item can never be brought as a carbon. Meaning, before Yush, before the owner despairs, well, that's simple. You can't bring it as a carbon. Why not? Because the Torah says, Mikem, it has to be yours, and it's not yours. Even after Yush, even after it's now mine. Like I said, I could go marry a woman with this. I could use this to pay back my loan. It's my item for all intents and purposes, aside from one. Am I allowed to bring it as a carbon? No. Mitzvah b'avera. So too, let's go back to our lulav hagazel. Let's go to our lulav case. It's Erev Sukkot. I decide Sukkah lulav prices are too high this year. That's it. I'm not paying for one. I walk into, who's the local lulav macher over here? Psach's house. I walk into Psach's garage. There you go. He just got a shout out. Don't tell him we won't charge him for advertising. I walk into his garage. I say, Psachia, I don't care your prices. I pick up a lulav. I walk out. I steal the lulav. Myra Dick. Psachia says, well, I'm gonna take the rabbi. That's gonna look bad. It's gonna make a whole matzah. You know what? I'm the Aish. You know, let the rabbi have it. What's halacha? Puzzle. When? Not only on day one that it's possible. Why? Because it's a din of lachem. On day one it's possible because it's not mine. It's pasha not mine. I stole it from you. But even on day 2, on 3, and 4, and 5, it's possible. Why mitzvah b'avera? The owner was miyayish. Psachia gave up hope on it. Doesn't make a difference. It has the stigma. It still came as an avera. A mitzvah b'avera. We learn from the pasuk it can never be brought as a carbon. So too cannot be a kosher lulav.
So even the first day, it's not because of
so now you ask a good question. So l'chayra, no, l'chayra still has to be lachem. Why? So you missed one word because even if we actually didn't fear it entirely, the first day, what's the chi of lulav? The raisa derabanan, the raisa. This makar is a makar the raisa derabanan. It's a good kasha. It's a good kasha. It's pasuk malachi. It would seem it's not the same level makar. Sounds like
it has to be not doraisa because if it was a simple hekesh.
No.
What do I need of svara? What do I need mitzvah b'avera? It's hekesh.
Okay. So the truth is there's a lot of rate to talk about over here.
We're just discussing what.
Okay.
No, pisech has nothing to do with mitzvah b'avera. Pisech is balmum.
No, but he.
So we're saying because pisech is never. So we're doing the hekesh. Say, do me the pisech, right?
That's
like if it was a doraisa, we would not go and.
I'm not sure. I can hear both ways. I can hear, but Noach is saying even in the doraisa, the Gemara just explaining that. It's not so schwer. Yeah. But I'll tell you, Taisus over here.
Why is pisech not allowed? Lacher yesh, why is pisech not allowed?
Taisus over here really deals with this. Taisus over here.
Pisech is always not allowed because it's a mum.
The mum. The mum. That's no, but it's the same. It's the same nekuda. It's the same nekuda. Now, the point of the story is Taisus over here deals at length that lemaisa. It's not a deraisa. It's a derabanan. This is something that we're going to get more later in this parak that we're going to learn the level of chiyuv. But either way, for now, suffice it to say, day 1 is lochem, day 2 is mitzvah b'avera. Now, we now take a left turn. Take a left turn, a beautiful left turn. Maybe it's a right turn, depending on you ask. Once we talk about mitzvah b'avera, says the Gemara, where does mitzvah b'avera come from? Now, we know the makar, right? But now we're going to get a little bit of a tam hadavar. What is the meaning of the pasuk that says, Kini Hashem, I am God. I have mishpat, I love laws. Soine gazel, I hate stealing. Be'oila. I hate stealing when it comes to an oila. What does that mean? Hashem hates stealing when it comes to carbon oila? Hashem hates stealing, he hates stealing. What does it mean? Hashem hates stealing when it comes to an oila, when it comes to bringing it as a carbon. Explains the Gemara Gavaldika Mashal. Mashal and Melech Basar V'Dam. There's a king. She'over al Beis HaMeches. The king is going by the Beis HaMeches, is the tax collector. Imagine going by a good old-fashioned toll booth. Amar lavadav. So the king pulls down, tells his servant, to do meches l'meichsim. Give the taxes to the collector. Pay the tolls. Amrulai. The servants say, king, you're the king, buddy. It's all yours. Who? Meaning, king, what are you doing? Taking it out of your right pocket? You're putting it into your left pocket. So what does the king answer? Amar lahem, the king responds to his servants. Mimeni, from me, yilmedu kol oivrei derachim. Let everyone learn from me. V'lo yavrichon atzum min hameches. And not yavrichu, do not run away from taxes. The king's paying taxes, we'll pay also. Af HaKadosh Baruch Hu Amar. Ani Hashem, I am God, Soini Gezel Ba'oila. Meaning, Mimani Yomedu B'anai. Learn from me. You're bringing a carbon? Now, let's just understand the nimshal. It's mamish a beautiful nimshal. I steal your animal, and I bring it as a carbon. So in a way, I took from the king, and I'm giving back to the king, because who owns your animal? Hashem. Everything's God. So I say, I took your animal, okay, shkayach, but I gave it to Hashem. I go steal $1 million. I give it to Hektish. I give it to Beis Hamikdash. I didn't steal from you. It all came back around. It's one big circle. Says Hashem, no, I don't want that carbon. Hashem, why don't you want that carbon? Just like you pay the taxes. It's not right pocket to left pocket. Mimeni yomdu b'nei b'anai. V'evrichu atzon mina gezel. And they should run away from gezel. A second, I don't know if it's a makar. I don't know what to label this add-on the Gemara. It's another source, I guess, in which we see now another pasuk in which we see mitzvah above here. Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting what the Gemara is doing.
You can't be a rabbi.
Yeah. In case you needed a raya.
Because
Yeah.
I guess the question is why physically doesn't it work? You made a mitzvah at the end of the day.
It's true, but what does the Gemara need? The Gemara is like, you're right, it's a deep explanation. Like, who cares? Stayed entire, leave me alone. There's also pasuk in Nach. It's not. That's what it is. The Gemara is giving more of a tam hadavar. It's Renami. Let's go a drop further. Thursday nights, part of our Chazara battle cry. Thursday night is now officially Chazara. We're never going to do new Gemara Thursday nights. That's the way it's going to go. The way I might be a few minutes late Thursday night. I don't know my schedule yet. My life is still trying to settle itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room every week. A different person is going to say shir on Thursday nights Chazara. That's the plan. That's the plan. So Shashi obviously suggested himself. Shashi is going to give tomorrow night. Amir Hashem. He's going to give to himself. I'm saying that because it's 8:42. I'm going to go weiter for another 3 minutes because tomorrow night is Chazar, and then we'll have a mamish gansa. It's almost a blob, by the way. If you feel like you never did anything, and let's remember, by Sunday we don't have shir. So by Monday, 4 times, and hopefully we'll already be starting on Shakavatari. Hopefully we'll be starting in Shakavatari already. But let's go. Let's start another 3 lines. I plan on being here tomorrow. I just might be a few minutes late, so it'll work out nicely. I'm not sure my schedule. We'll be in touch. It's Barnami. Let's go. Let's continue a few more lines of Gemara because we have a whole tomorrow night to do Chazar. It's Barnami, says the Gemara Meravami. Yavish Pasal. Midnay. Why? She'ein Hadar. Kazal Pasal. Shamnavli Mitzvah Bavera. Mamish, we just said. Ravami comes along and he says perfectly what we just said. Mamish straight, Yavish, the whole thing. No. Very good. He is not Machal. Yeah, interesting point. He doesn't differentiate between one and on. But now we're just going to start the next Gemara, then stop. Upliga de Rav Yitzchak. Everything we just learned, our Mishnah argues on Rav Yitzchak. Dam Rav Yitzchak bar Nechmeni Amar Shmuel, which is really Shmuel. Lo yishanu ela biyam tav rishayin. That's when a lulav gazel is possible. Avol biyantiv sheni mitoich sheyatza b'shaul yatza nami b'gazel. What does that mean? Because you're yaitze with a borrowed lulav, meaning
Doesn't have to be shulchan.
there's no din of lachem. He's arguing, saying I don't care mitzvah baver. Now, what you're really asking? Does he fight mitzvah baver and kol tarakula? Does he only argue here? Very good question. But says Shmuel, says Rav Yitzchak, a lulav ha'gazel on day number 2 is kosher. just like a shul. We're gonna get there. Good. We have to pull it together. Bein Hanami says Shmuel, because we yotze with a shul, you can yotze nami be gazel. Now this clearly is not going to be like our Mishnah, but we're going to stop over here and we're going to go daven. And even though Laila might be feeling, come on, what's the big deal? It's like an hour and a half. So halavai. So let's get in week number 1. We'll get a nice big fat check. That we'll get our 4 chazaras. And halavai, ready of Shak Vatar. I am going to Mirz Hashem, come in on Monday night. Siyata Dishmai, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm going to come in Monday night, and I'll be the first one to offer Shakel Vataria of what we just did. And whoever wants to go next, I'll dive in. Shashi will go next, and the Mirz Hashem. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Later.
One little piece of
You see,
I'm down for the next 10 weeks. So I'm good.
I'll tell you,